So we're going to work on ratios, and we have been working already on ratios because ratios are really just a proportion, and it's a way of comparing two or more quantities. So we've done that in a fraction as part to whole. Okay, we've done it in percentage as some number to 100. And what we're going to do is be more specific about ratios, and we're going to give them ratio comparing quantities. And so we're going to use some word problems to indicate how we are going to compare and the direction that we're going to compare two ratios. So for example, the ratio of squares to circles. So it's important that in this case we are comparing squares first to circles. Okay, so squares to circles. And we can say this in words. So 3 squares compared to 6 circles, or 3 to 6. And we can use this as a ratio notation. So this is kind of what we're kind of focused on. We've done it before with words and with fractions, but we're going to kind of use this ratio notation. So in the example 1, it says, for the diagram shown above, write each ratio for the number of squares to the total of objects. So we want to distinguish when we have a part-to-part ratio. So part is the squares and part is circles. So that's a part-to-part relationship. But we could also do ratios in a part-to-total number. So squares, we're going to do squares is going to be, there are 3 squares to the total number. If we count them all up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 to 9 ratio. Now, because this is a ratio, we can simplify this ratio just like we can simplify fractions. So in a fraction, this would have looked like this. As a fraction, we have 3 squares to 9 total objects. When we do equivalent ratios, it works just like with fractions. There's a times divide relationship. So when we compare 4 to 6 as a fraction, and we want an equivalent fraction, we can divide by 2 on top and bottom, and we get an equivalent fraction of 2 to 3. The same thing shows up when we do a ratio. We start with a ratio 4 to 6. We can convert that into a 2 to 3 ratio using divide by 2 for each term. The same can be done increasing. So we have 4 to 6. We have our original 4 to 6 ratios, just like having a 4 over 6 fraction. And if we want to write this in larger terms, we can times by 3. So we can do times 3 to get 12, times 3 to get 18, and it gives us a 12 over 18 fraction. Well, the same process can be applied when we have the ratio like this. We have 4 to 6 ratio, it becomes 12 to 18 by multiplying both by 3.